Welcome to the Central Alabama High School Sports Show podcast, brought to you by Andrew Sports Medicine, Land of Frost, Hamburger Heaven, Huffman Electric, and State Farm.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to this week's exciting podcast. On this week's show, we've got two outstanding coaches, Brett Huber of the Vestavia Rebels and Tim Vakakes of the Jackson-Olin Mustangs. We'll have them, they're outstanding athletes, and guess what? They're in the house!
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling one-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine, shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrew Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
And folks, welcome back. And as we were talking about earlier, we've got an outstanding track coach tonight, Brett Huber of Vestavia Hills High School. And Coach, awfully good to see you again.
Thanks, Snapper.
And I know, I don't know exactly how many, because I was involved in the Vestavia program for 17 years myself, but you've been there longer. Tell us a little bit about your background, especially for people that may be seeing you the first time, how you got to Vestavia, how long you've been there.
Well, Snapper, it's great to be here, and my career is a blessing, so I love to share with people about it. I started out coming from East Tennessee in Knoxville, and came down to Gardendale for my first job in career. So coached there for 6 years, and then met Coach Anderson at an Auburn coaching clinic, and then he brought me over when Liberty Park Elementary just started, like for the first time. And so started there in '99, and then so I'm still rolling and coaching these Rebels.
Well, as a matter of fact, talking about the year 99, 98 was the championship football season. 99 was when they brought me in the year afterwards, and I was there for 17 years and enjoyed every minute of it. Vestavia is a special place, and I know you've done an outstanding job there through the years. And being there this long, Coach, talk about the athlete back then and the athlete now. Are there any differences? To me, the main difference that I see, and you may see something else, is this electronic age that's come along, because the athletes have changed right along with it. But talk about that evolution of the athletes in your career there.
Well, it's interesting. There's a lot of observations to make, but what's neat about our sport, there's all this technology you can use as runners, but it still doesn't change what we do. You got to work hard every day, train well to be successful and against competition or your own goals that you set. So technology has been a good thing, but for our sport, it's just always spacing you. You know, just like a drill sergeant. Okay, we're going to train today. What are you going to do?
Right.
And that's the way distance running is. So what I've seen, which is a neat thing, is it takes a lot of effort and commitment for the kids to do what they do as distance runners. Training for a 5K race in a season.
Well, I tell you what, folks, and you may not think about it, but a track coach's job at any high school is a little bit different from most other coaches, because your job entails 3 seasons in one. You have your fall, winter, and spring athletes, and you run different ways. Like we've got cross country now here in the fall. Then in the winter you run a little bit indoor, and then you have the spring. So there's no such thing as a break for a track coach, is there?
There's not, and actually these athletes we'll talk to tonight, they're super committed in that sense, because the summer they do summer training for cross country, but they have 3 seasons, so they're, if we're always working, they're always working also, so they put a lot of work in throughout the year.
Coach, talk about the scheduling. One, I guess if you're like the other coaches in other sports, and I think you probably are you the one that schedules all of your meets and that kind of thing, who you're going to be, what meets you're going to be going in, who you'll be going against? Do you do that?
I do. The head coach is a neat position, because at the end of the day, you make all those decisions, but as we all know in companies and different things that you do, I get counsel from our coaches before I put schedules together. We know what worked well for athletes last year. We talk to athletes, and so it's a group effort. But at the end of the day, yes.
And talk about your sport in as athlete activity. We talk about the big 3. Would call them baseball, basketball, and football. But you've got other sports that kids love to compete in, but all these sports take athletes. And so how have you seen that involvement, especially in the last 10 or 15 years, when I've seen more young women in track, just like the guys, but that's their sport for the most part. That's their favorite sports. And so how have you seen that? Has your sport had a lot of athletes through the years?
Well, what's neat to say about our program is, but it has grown almost every year to whatever percentages, but it seems to keep growing. Never from 25 to 50 kind of thing, but it does grow, so that's been encouraging. But in track, we have so many things going on. It's sort of like a 3-ring circus, because we have a distance group, then we have a jumper group, then we have hurdles, we have throwing. And so we have multi-sport athletes come and go from other sports into our track seasons, and then we have distance runners. Sometimes distance runners actually do other sports, and then they'll come back to us for spring or this and that. But so there, you name it, whatever way you think you could do track, we have athletes doing that.
Well, the one thing that I would be a little bit interested in how you handle it and how you approach it is the indoor season. Now, the indoor season, you don't have as much competition, because when the weather really gets bad, there aren't that many, 2 or 3 facilities in the whole state?
Yeah. Mainly right now it's 1, and then you can go out of state. So there's a lot of traveling involved if you don't go to the Crossplex
Right.
in Alabama.
Well, does your program, do you get a chance to go out of state much during the winter season?
Well, when I first started, what most of the coaches did for a lot of the programs, we would go to LSU in Arkansas and Virginia and East Tennessee. But anyway, when the Crossplex was built, most of us did the opposite. Now people are coming here
Right.
to compete against us. So, there's no need to travel because it's such a great facility. And at the end of the day, for our kids and coaches, if they're at their homes, able to study, not on the road, because we're not in college,
Right.
it's a much better fit than traveling. Because traveling really, it affects your training, it affects the homework they do, and you just can't get the hours back. And their hours are very tight for most of the schedules that they run.
Well, is it true also that, and it would make sense if it is, that you have less events in the winter season? Is that correct?
Yep.
And then, but like you said, when you have them at the best. This is the #1 facility in the state. What they used to call that other one, Gray Barn, or
the barn.
The barn, yeah, where you had what meats you did have, or most of them.
And it was exactly the same that we have now, except it was on a wooden track, and then the inside of the track was elevated about 2 feet off the ground. And so it was really different.
Well, we've only got a minute or two left in our segment, Coach, and as we talk about it, I want you to tell us a little bit about this year's team, how you expect them to be in this fall season, and then what you're looking at in the winter and the spring, maybe for outlook for you.
Well, this is a fun group to talk about this year, but the guys finished up third last year, and so we had a great season. Season could have gone this way or that way, and we were really close maybe to getting the one. But so we've lost one state champion senior, so that's hard to replace. But this team, this is one of the deepest teams we've had and since our last championship run. So we're excited about the work they've done and the chance they have this season. We just finished second last weekend. The girls have been one of the top 10 teams in the state in the last 3 or 4 years, every year. And so this year we're looking forward for them to be up there.
Well, I tell you what, first of all, it's awfully good to see you again, and I wish you all the luck in the world, because your sports, like everybody else, you're in it to win championships and be the best you can be. But other than that, I know your job is you want to see these young kids grow, not only on their track endeavors, but getting ready for life after school,
right.
high school as well. But good to see you, Coach. Good luck, and maybe you can get a championship or 2 or 3 before the year's over with. But awfully good to see you.
Thanks,
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be visiting with 4 athletes that will play a big part in what kind of cross-country season Vestavia has this year. We'll be right back. You can catch our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also visit us on our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Be sure to like and subscribe to our platforms. If you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be a sponsor, please email us at castvshow321@gmail.com.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
And folks, welcome back. As you can see, I got 4 outstanding young Rebel athletes, 2 males, 2 females. Sitting closest to me, Bryce Hutchison, a senior. Bryce is John Ingram, a junior. And then we got Mary Griffin Lytle, a senior. And Eden Robinson, also a senior, right? All right. Now, guys and girls, as we get into this, first of all, Bryce, being a senior, is track the only sport that you participate in?
Well, track and cross country, yes.
Yeah, but it's a track, so you haven't played any of the other sports. How long have you been running track?
Since 7th grade, I did. I started track in 8th grade, but
Really?
I've been running since 7th grade.
And I know that because of grandkids that run track, I know that the cross country and the indoor and the outdoor spring season, which season's a favorite for you?
I probably do the best in cross, so I have to say cross.
Really?
But track is less stressful, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. To me, it's almost an obstacle course because you never know what the terrain or what kind of things you're going through. But I know it's a challenge for you athletes. John, being a junior, do you participate in any other sports?
No, sir. Just track and cross country.
Okay. So, did you run all 3 seasons?
Yes, sir.
And I guess you too, Bryce. Y'all run all 3 seasons. So that's what I was talking with Coach about. That makes you athletes a little bit unique because most of the other guys, they may play 1 or 2 sports. Very few of them would play 3 sports, which would take up their entire year, like baseball, football, and basketball. But in y'all's case, year-round sport. And Mayor Griffith will ask you, senior. So is track the only sport you participate in?
Yes, sir. I've done it since 7th grade.
The 7th grade. Okay. Now, what is it that turned you on to track? What do you enjoy about it?
I think it's really just everyone who does it. Like, you build friendships. I mean, you're running 2 hours a day with these people, and so you get to know them so well, and like all of them are so nice. And so.
Well, cross country, indoor, outdoor. Do you have a favorite season? Or does it matter?
I'd say cross country is
really,
my favorite.
Do you enjoy
too,
that too?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this question. Because I often wonder, I've asked my granddaughter about this. What in the world are you thinking about when you're running over the hill and up the dale and through, the mud puddle you go, the little creek? What do? Do you try to stay focused, or do you let your mind wander on something you like? What is it you do that helps you keep going?
I try to think about the finish line and finishing and say like, oh, I only have this many minutes left, or sometimes I'll just like think of a song and try to like zone out.
Okay. Now, Eden, let me ask you this question. Like a cross-country run, are they all generally the same amount of time, or do they vary?
They're all generally about the same amount of time. It depends if you have a better race or a bad day, but they're all within a minute of each other.
Well, and it may be better to ask you, are they all a certain length, like so many miles?
Yes, they're all at 3.1 miles.
So okay, now then that sort of helps out. And I never asked Ellie that question, so just 3.1 miles. So how many years, here you are a senior, how many years you been running track?
I started in 7th grade.
Really? So y'all are what I would call veterans, right? Yes. All right. Now the one thing I love to ask athletes, and they're probably a little different for a track athlete, so I'm sort of curious to what you might say. A lot of athletes I've talked with, athletes are unique in that we're superstitious. Sometimes we think we got to do this, we got to do that the same way, we got to do this or that or the other, or we're not going to be successful in what we do. Now, with that thought in mind, Bryce, do you have any superstitions, or you just go out there and run for fun?
I mean, I used to have socks I would wear on every race day, but normally it's just I eat the things that are smart, and I try to be smart about it. I don't have any, I guess, weird traditions that I have to adhere to.
Well, do you have I don't know exactly how to put this. Do you have a strategy like that you like to use? In other words, are you going to go all out to start with, or are you going to sort of lay back and then toward the end make your run? What's your plan?
I mean, obviously I have to go fast at the start just to get out ahead, because my big problem used to be I'd always get cut off by people that would slow down like half a mile in, and I would be trapped. So I just get out quick, and then I just try to leech on to someone I know I should be running with,
right? And
just stick with them the whole race.
Because like you said, if you don't set a pace that's good, you're going to drop out of that lead pack or so. So you've got to have your own way of doing that. John, how about you? Do you have a strategy that you use, or you just when they hit that gun, you off and run?
Yes, sir. I usually go out really fast and try to make the first mile really count to get out ahead of everybody. And then that second mile, I usually slow up a little bit and just try to hang on to that lead pack. And then third mile, I usually just give it everything I've got left.
Right. Do you have any superstitions?
Yes, sir. I have a shirt just like Bryce is wearing. I wear that every race day. I have a pair of socks I wear that I've worn since freshman year. I eat the same peanut butter sandwich every morning before every race.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, sir.
I've got some news for y'all in just a minute about that when we finish talking with our young ladies, because I can't wait to see what kind of superstitions y'all might have. Miss MG, do you have anything?
Well, I think as far as strategy goes, during the race, I usually try to pick one person that I want to stay with, maybe a little bit faster than me, and I just try to stay with them. Superstitions.
Well, no, wait a minute. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Excuse me for interrupting. Now, is that a teammate that you pick?
It's usually a teammate, someone from our team. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All right. Then the other.
I eat spaghetti every night before a race. Track, cross country, indoor, outdoor. Always spaghetti.
There's no saying spaghetti makes me ready. No, I said that. Okay. Eden, how about you?
For a strategy, I kind of do the same. I normally pick a teammate and I set a goal and I say I want to stay with this person and I stay with that. And for superstitions, I wear the same pair of socks for every race. I've done it since 8th grade. I wash them, don't worry.
That's nice.
And then I eat the same dinner and breakfast. I eat spaghetti and peanut butter toast.
Okay. I got something to tell you, athletes, about those superstitions. They don't do a bit of good. Let me tell you why. Guess why you win or lose? It's your talent. But I mean, I understand, but when you think about it, how foolish we are to think that something's going to help us. And as long as mentally it does, it's a good thing, right? Well, then let me ask you, and we'll work this way this time, and we'll start with you, Eden. Is there any certain team, or do you have individual, like in your sport, do you have more teams that you'd like to race against, or individuals that you might know from somewhere else that you look forward to that meet because or that team because you're going to run against them? How would it work for you?
Well, most races we see the same teams, like we run against the same teams in most races if it's an in-state. But I have like a favorite race course, which is Jackson-Olin's. It's normally a fast course for people, and I always get one of my PRs on that course.
Oh, so. Okay. How about you, MJ? Where do you like?
Where's my favorite course?
MG. Yeah. Is there favorite places you like to run, or is there someone you know on a school team when you play that team that you look forward to that?
I wouldn't say there's not a favorite course that I have. I think I like when it's raining. I don't know why. But
you like coming
whenever it's bad conditions, I usually tend to do well. So
really,
that's the opposite of a lot of people.
Well, maybe so. You never can. So you think you're a bad weather runner, right? Better than bad weather. How about you, John?
Weather-wise, I used to live in Philadelphia, so cold weather is probably my biggest thing. Like, other people don't tend to do very well in the cold, but that's probably one of my strengths. And then Jackson-Olin's, like she was saying, is a great course, which I like.
Ryan, how about you?
On the contrary, I hate Jesse, but I do really well at Spain Park because no one else likes Spain Park. So I like Spain Park.
And so you use that to your advantage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one thing that I would ask is when you get ready for a meet, in your mind, is it as much mental as it is physical? How do you attack that part?
I think it's more mental than physical.
Really?
Because, I mean, if you think, my stomach's hurting, it's gonna hurt. Whereas if you just try to get past it mentally, you can usually run through it. It's not as bad as you make it seem in your own mind.
Well, one question I want to ask you, athletes, before we get away from here, is there a situation where you have fallen so far behind you never think you would catch up, but then you've actually come a long way in the race. John, is there a situation like that for you?
Yes, sir. I had a race my freshman year where we went to Mobile and ran this track race. And it was the mile, and I fell probably 200 meters back behind where I should have been. And I thought for sure there was no way I was coming back. Like, it was just a bad day. And then somehow I just hung on and came back and happened to get a PR that race. So you just got to know, like, you can never give up because you can recover.
Well, about the last question I got, it's a curiosity question, is I know y'all are good at two things, one in the classroom and one running. Now, what I want to know, and we'll start with you, Eden, is what do you do to relax when you have some downtime? Because you don't have a lot of it, but what do you like to do to relax?
I like to listen to music a lot. I like to just sometimes I like to just go and get in my car and just drive and put the windows down and listen to music.
Yeah, I noticed you got in the car. You didn't run or nothing, listening to anything. Okay. How about you, G?
I really like going out with my friends and getting ice cream or something and just sitting and talking with them or playing with my dog.
Okay. John?
Probably just relaxing at my house or maybe getting some friends together, watching some football, that sort of thing. Just really taking a break, I guess, from the craziness of school and running.
Okay. Bryce?
I just sort of spend time with friends in any way I can. You know, I'll play games with them. We'll go watch movies, just hanging around other people.
Okay. Last question. To this point in your young life, and we'll start with you, Bryce. Who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
I mean, my dad has always been there for me, and my mom as well. But outside of them, I would say, honestly, James Sweeney. Last year, he's been my teammate for 3 years. Okay. And he's always helped me, even when I was hurt. He gave me instructions on some pool running to do, and he's always been there for me. He's always pushed me farther than I could ever go on my own. He's always run with me. He's always been there for me.
Okay. John?
Similar to what Bryce was saying, I don't really know if it would be one person in particular, but we had some senior guys last year, including James and also Joseph Gilroy, Grayson Holbert, William Tapscott. Really just guys that when I came in as a freshman, I wasn't anywhere close to where I was today, but then just through them motivating me and helping me keep going, I feel like I improved so much. And even if you were having an off day, you always had somebody to pick you back up and keep you going, and then they kept you accountable. So it just helped us work even harder to a common goal as a team.
Okay. How about you, MG?
I think running-wise, definitely my middle school coach, Coach Jeff. I started with him, and he would just encourage me and believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And so he definitely has a special place in my heart.
Okay. How about you?
I think my dad has been the most influential person. In 7th grade, he got me into running. His New Year's resolution was to run a 5K, and so he asked me to do it with him, and that's how I got started running. And then ever since then, when I'm in a race, I really can't hear anyone talking to me except him. I can hear his voice, and he's just always been my cheerleader. So.
Well, good. Listen, awfully nice to meet y'all. Good luck. Have a great season, okay?
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We come back, another coach, more athletes. Don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors. A company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their number one objective. And folks, welcome back. As you can see, I've got another guest, and Two outstanding football helmets here. One representing, or both of them representing an outstanding football team. But first, Tim Vakakes of the Jackson-Olin Mustangs. And Tim, awfully good to see you.
Glad to be back.
Hope you're doing well.
We are. We're doing well.
I know I was asking you off there just a moment ago, is what you and your team has accomplished thus far early in the season surprised you at all? And you said you're sort of expecting to be doing this.
We are. You know, it's year 6, and we've got guys that have really worked hard, and they've developed themselves into pretty good football players. And you know, so it doesn't surprise us at all. You know.
Well, and his team's off to a 3-0 start this season, and then you play Chelsea this weekend. One person that was going to be here, but under the circumstances didn't get to come, and I was looking forward to it. And this is why, of course, is your dad, Jimmy Vakakes, because folks, I've known the Vakakeses a long time, and way back in Fairfield in those days when Jimmy was the head coach and you were helping him out, right. And now the roles have flip-flopped, and I always saw, or I thought, Tim, if you landed in the right place, because I knew your ability was there. And I've got a simple formula. I've been doing this show for 20 years, and the simple formula is this: you put good athletes with good coaches, most of the time, good things are going to happen. And I know you've been building and working there and working with those young athletes there at Jackson-Olin, and you and your dad. And I know it's been a labor of love. I know how much you love the game. I know how much you love what you do. But boy, and I don't mind saying this, and this is not to embarrass you or your players at all, but it does not surprise me the success you guys are having under your leadership. What a great job you've done so far.
Well, we've got a great coaching staff, and we've got guys who have been with us from day one. And we lost 11 games in a row. 9 our first year, and 2 the first 2 of the next year. And so we've got guys that have stuck with it. And I kept telling them every coaches meeting, just hang in there. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. Let's just keep building, and it's going to work out. And we had a couple years ago, we made the playoffs, and last year we slipped a little bit, finished 6-4, but it's been building, and I just feel like if you do the right things the right way on a day-to-day basis, good things happen, and we've got a lot of great kids in our program.
Well, and your team's off to a great start this season, and talking about that great start, Coach, tell me a little bit about this team from the offensive standpoint, defensive and special teams, where you are.
Well, it starts on defense with us. It starts on defense. We've got a lot of seniors on that side of the ball who've played a lot of football, and we've got some talented guys over there that they really play hard, and it starts with them. And offensively, we've got some youth in spots, but we've got playmakers we feel like can make plays. It's just our job to get them the ball where they need it, and we've got 2 seniors on the offensive line who've played a whole lot of football. Our quarterback's a 10th grader, Brandon Tank Ward. He was a freshman last year. He started, and he's got a lot of talent. We just got to keep him grounded and trying to tough him up a little bit. But he's coming on, and special teams wise, AJ's our punter, and you'll meet in a minute. We don't really have a kicker yet. We got a 10th grader who's working, trying to get better, and I think in time, I think he's going to be okay. But we're trying to kick off the other night for a touchdown. So we've got some guys on special teams that can make some plays, but. In the big scheme of things, we've got guys who are doing the right things off the field, and I think once that happens, you put that with hard work and talent, I think you got success.
Well, you know what, Coach, and I know you and I have talked about this before, and I don't think it's not appropriate to say something about it, because I believe you've done a great job at it. When you first got to JO, I know the first time I had you on the show back then, once you became the head coach, you said one of your main objectives was getting the athletes out of the hall and on the football field. That you had a lot of athletes or athletic youngsters there that you thought could be some good football players, but hadn't, for lack of a better way to put it, fell in love with the game before you got there. And talk about that, because I know that was an important thing for you, and I know you've helped in that area, getting some of those kids out on that athletic field that before hadn't chose to be there.
We've had a couple of guys that have come out and helped us, I think, but most importantly, what I said we were going to try to do from day one is to keep our kids. You know, for so long out of middle school, they were supposed to come to us. They wouldn't go to JO for a long, long time. They would go to other places. And that's the first thing I said I was going to do. And I called all the coaches in Birmingham and said, look, you know, I don't know how many games we're going to win. I can't sit here and tell you that. I have no idea. But I promise you, this program's about to be different in terms of just coming and handpicking our kids. And we were able to keep our guys. And, you know, you can't build a program if your best handful of players every year are going to another high school. You can't, you know, you look up in 3 years and there's 8 or 9 kids that should have been in that program that aren't. And we've done a better job of keeping our guys. And I think that's where it starts. We hadn't gone out and looking for people. They're in our community. We just kept them.
Well, I think, and I'm not just going by the first 3 games that your team has played thus far this year, but I think I would be safe to say, this looks like a definite playoff contending team that you've got on hand. Can you see that? I mean, of course, and I realize you coach your teams like other coaches do. What you want to do is you want to improve and peak toward the region games that determine whether or not your team will make the playoffs. But it looks like that this team is like poised to take that next step, if that's the right way to say it. Do you sort of see it that way a little bit?
It needs to be, you know, but we don't talk about it. You know, we've kind of set goals, big, you know, long-term goals, but we don't talk about those goals every day. We talk about each day. And I tell them all the time, I don't care who we play. I don't care where we play them. I'm worried about us. You know, and we've got to handle us on a day-to-day basis. Let's get through the day without anybody getting in trouble. Let's get through practice. You know, let's chop it up and just take it day at a time. And on Friday nights, it'll take care of itself.
Are you one of these coaches, and I think you are, but we haven't talked much about that the defense is sort of the heart and soul sometimes of a football team, because like you say, if the other team don't score, your team always has a chance. You're always in ball games. That's the importance of that defensive side of the football. But it's a team effort from top to bottom, and you've got to have unity not only within the coaching staff and the players, but within the team. And it seems like that's headed in the direction that you want it to be in.
It is, and like I said, we've got a lot of older guys on defense who have played a lot of football, and you know, right now we're leaning on them, but at the same time, we feel like, you know, guys on offense, if they execute, we can also score points with people. But we got to clean a lot up, and I know we've got our hands full tomorrow night with Chelsea.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, it's off to a great start. It don't surprise me at all, because it's like I said, I knew you had athletes there, but once they got to buying into what you were selling, it seems like the formula you got is working for you, and that's the most important thing. And then of course, that relationship with you and those kids, and the important part you're playing in their life right now. One, it's great to see you winning, but it's even better to see you have the athletes out there wanting to compete for you. And Coach, it looks like you're headed in the right direction, that there are bigger goals that you're going to attain in the very near future, I believe. And I'd just like to say all the best of luck to you. Your team's off to a great start. Just want to keep that momentum going, and I know that's the way you feel about it. And I think it looks like there's a playoff team. If the wheels don't come off, and I got a feeling with you as the head coach, wheels aren't going to come off, but barring some kind of serious injury or something like that, you look like not only that's a playoff team, but it's a team that you enjoy being around.
It definitely is, and I appreciate y'all having us on. And you know, like I said, we got our hands full tomorrow night with Chelsea.
Well, I tell you what, once again, awfully good to see you. And I'll look forward to seeing you down the road, then continued improvement of your program. But what a great job you've done thus far. And good luck down the road, playoff time in particular.
Sure, thank you.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. 4 youngsters that are very young men, not youngsters, that are very instrumental in the outstanding season that JO has had thus far. But it's just really the beginning. We'll be right back.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well. And folks, welcome back. In this segment, you can tell I got 4 outstanding young men here that are outstanding football players for the Jackson-Olin Mustangs, and I've had a great year thus far, 3-0. You can't get any better than that. But maybe the toughest games are still ahead, guys, and I know y'all all know this, but we're going to introduce them. First off, next to me, Antonio Spencer, senior linebacker, and then Vontae Bentley, he's a senior linebacker as well. A.J. Tony, a senior wide receiver, and David Robinson, a senior running back. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about these guys because they're pretty impressive. First of all, Antonio, you have a college offer from Miles College, right? And then Vontae, you chose Clemson over Alabama, Bama, and LSU. What was the problem? Is this state not good enough? No, I'm kidding. That's great. That's 4 outstanding colleges. That lets me know that you're an outstanding football player. Clemson, an outstanding program. Just not as good as Alabama. They're outstanding. And then A.J. Tony. And A.J., it's my understanding, Samford, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Louisiana Lafayette, Navy, Florida Atlantic, Bowling Green, all Courtney, right? Yes, sir. Well, that's pretty impressive. And you're a wide receiver, senior wide receiver. And finally, David Robinson, senior running back. And David, I know there's been some interest in you, but also that you are kin to a pretty outstanding football player from down on the plains, T.J. Moultrie, right? Yes, a cousin? Yes, well, that's terrific. Now, you hope to be half as good as he is one day, right? No, I hope to be better. Okay. But listen, guys, first of all, good to see you. So far, an outstanding season. Antonio, does it surprise you at the quick start you're off to, undefeated?
No, it don't surprise me at all.
Now, I know that the program has been growing, and you guys have been in coach's system for a while, and I know he's a pretty stern coach, but you guys are getting to be some pretty good football players. Talk about, Antonio, one of the most important aspects of a football team is team chemistry. If the chemistry is good, 2 things can happen. One, you can be the best you can be, and you can be the best you can be as a team. Talk about the chemistry on this team and what it means to you guys.
Our chemistry is real good. We do everything together, like outside of just football. In school, we help each other. In the hallways, we hold each other accountable for what we do.
Okay, now Vontae, on that, you've been in the program. How many years you been playing football? Did you start as a freshman? Start playing as a freshman?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you've seen this team improve. This being your senior year, and you've had an outstanding career thus far. What were your expectations, not only for yourself, but for the team as a whole this year?
Well, I say that we came out, everyone have a goal, so our goal is to win every game. And we win every game, then we know where we'll end up being at. So, we work hard during the summer. Everybody come together, work, and trying to get the goal done. So.
Okay, now AJ, being a senior as well, what was your personal goals for yourself and this team?
For myself, just be a better leader than I was last year. Just keep everybody together, keep everybody head focused on the main goal. Don't let everybody just wander off and do their own things. We're one team, so we just need to be together.
Okay. And David, running back, I always like to ask athletes, like, they have favorite college or pro players that if you could be just like that one, who would that running back be for you?
I'd say Le'Veon Bell.
What? Oh, well, there ain't nothing wrong with that. If you just half that good, you know you're going to be pretty special, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me ask you this, guys, and we'll head back this way. So we'll start with you, David. I know two things happen for athletes. One, you have to be good in the classroom, because if you don't make it to the classroom, you don't get to the football field. And two, you got to be a pretty doggone good player, give it all you got to be the best you can be. So that's a pretty tough schedule, right? So what I want to know, and we'll start with you, David, you got to do something to relax and unwind and take some of that pressure off. What do you do to loosen up some during the week?
I like to play Fortnite a lot.
You do?
Yes, sir.
You good?
I wouldn't say I'm not the best. I'm not the best at it.
Well, that's all right. You just enjoy what you're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How about you, AJ?
Swimming, working out, hanging out with friends.
Really? Okay. Just something that don't take work, like in the classroom or on that football field. Bonte, how about you?
I would say being around my girlfriend or my mom, nephew, sisters.
Yeah.
Spend time with them.
Yeah. Now we're not going to kid anybody, folks. He means that's probably 90% with his mom and 5%. I mean, with his girlfriend. 90% with that girlfriend, 5% with mom. That makes you a normal man. Well, that's good. How about you, Antonio?
I like to just spend time with my family.
Well, now, look, guys, I know that y'all are all athletic and you're all smart guys. And what kind of hobbies, do you have any hobbies? If there's anything that you do, like you sing in the shower, or is there anything that would surprise us if you told us, well, I do this or I do that, and it would surprise us? What would it be for you, Antonio?
I would say I like to swim.
Really? There's nothing wrong with that. And the fish might like to swim with you too. You know, that's all right. Vontae, how about you?
I really don't.
You don't. You just loosey goosey all the time, right? After you take care of the books and take care of practice. How about you, AJ?
Well, my team knows that. I like to dance a lot.
Do you? Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, you get some relaxation and enjoyment, and you work out. That dancing can be. You can work out. You can work hard on that dancing. How about you, Dave?
I like to listen to music, lay back, just listen to music all day.
Do you? All right. Well, a question I like to ask, and we'll start with you, David. When you look at that schedule, what team do you see that you look forward to competing against?
Homewood.
Homewood? They have a pretty good team, and you know if you play well against them that you're doing good. You know some players there?
Yes, sir. I know a lot.
And so you look forward to playing those kind of guys. How about you, AJ?
Everybody.
Everybody?
I don't take anybody
Just,
for granted.
the first up is going to be the first one to get it and on down the line,
Yes,
right? Vontae?
I agree with AJ.
Yeah. I mean, it's just nobody in particular, just the next one up's the enemy. And as far as winning a football game, I don't know about you.
I agree with AJ and Vontae.
Well, I tell you what, guys, so far, you've got a perfect season. Y'all got Chelsea coming up this week. So, you know, and here's the thing about winning. It's a wonderful thing. But the thing about it is, the more you win, the more people want to beat you. So you've got to prepare as you go along. You're going to be better this week. You want to be better next week and all that kind of thing. And I know the coaches and staff that y'all have to work under, that's exactly what will happen. Guys, one last question. Like I said, you're off to a 3-0 start. There's no doubt in my mind, unless something happens and you got to go out and prove it, you're a playoff team. But you go after improved game after game to make that happen. But the last question I want to ask, and we'll start with you, David. To this point in your life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
I'll say my mom.
Mom. Mom's always there for us. How about you, AJ?
I have a couple of people. I have my mom, my stepdad, my grandparents, Coach V, and just my team.
Well, good for you, because it's important to have people in your corner. Vontae, how about you?
I have me as well. First, my mom, my brothers, dad, Coach V, my mentor, Chris Rogers.
Well, I tell you what, guys, so far it looks like all the people that have been helping y'all have done it in a positive way. How about you, Antonio?
My mom and my dad and my grandparents.
Okay. Well, now listen, right now you're 3-0. I'd love to see y'all go 15-0. And the only reason I'd like to see that is this. One, it'd be great for y'all, great for Coach, but we'd have y'all back up here and we'd celebrate a state championship. That's my challenge to you, okay? Now, don't let it put no pressure on you. You know who's going to put pressure on you? See that guy sitting right over there. But listen, guys, you're off to a great start. You look like you're a nice young man, and you have your life in focus, and what's important you got laid out there, and you're working toward it. Good luck to you, all of your seniors. And as you head off to college next year, good luck to you. And down the road, maybe pro ball. Isn't that what we all dream about? But first things first, and that's this football season. It's been great thus far. Let's keep it going, okay? And folks, well, listen, we've had 2 outstanding coaches, some outstanding athletes tonight. We'll do it again next week. You know what the snapper always says. Till then, bye. You can catch our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also visit us on our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Be sure to like and subscribe to our platforms. If you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be a sponsor, please email us at castvshow321@gmail.com.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine, shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrews Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.